Well, hello there. It's Yvonne from Women's Fitness Adventures. Thank you very much for joining me on Monday Night Live. So, if you are watching live, welcome and thank you for joining us. So, today I'm going to talk about something quite personal. I'm going to talk about the um, using our birthdays as milestones. And for some of you who are in my I guess, inner world, you may know that I had a birthday yesterday. It was birthday week. I always try and make a big week of it. And not a significant number in the world of birthdays, but significant nonetheless. So I want to tap into a little bit about birthdays and how we can use them as a reset for just everything in our everyday life, and how a personal story of how I used to shy away from birthdays as well. So I'm just going to pop a little welcome here in the comments. Welcome to Monday Night Live. If you're watching live, please let me know where you're watching from. Come say hello. And if you're watching on replay, I'd love to know as well, because we do get people near and far. We're on YouTube as well, so you can always follow us on there. So if you're watching from YouTube, hello. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you. And for those of you who don't know, I was in Hobart last week. So here one day, down there the next. And I was expecting it to be quite cold, but it was actually much warmer than where I normally live in Brisbane. So all those winter clothes that I had purchased really weren't needed, which is good in a way, I guess. So I want to talk about birthdays and how we can use birthdays as a reset. And I see a few of you are up there in Noosa, which is where I grew up. So having birthdays up there was a regular thing for me. And because it is show week here in as show week here in Queen or Brisbane City Council area, Wednesday is a public holiday for us. So a lot of people take the opportunity to take the whole week off, having a public holiday in the middle of the week. So that could be why people are chiming in from Noosa. I know some of you do live there as well. So yes, I was had a birthday yesterday. I get to do the things that I want to do on my birthday, which for me at this point was running yesterday. Not everyone's idea of how to spend a birthday, but important to me for now, and how I use birthdays as a reset. But one thing that I never used to do was tell anyone that it was my birthday. I would shy away from it being my birthday, or saying to people it was my birthday, for a long time. And it wasn't really until the last couple of years, and my sister is the same, that we really didn't mind who knew and who didn't. And I'm not sure why we used to do that. I haven't quite figured it out. So if any of you are psychologists, I'm sure you can analyze me and tell me what category I fit into. But it's in the last couple of years that we have really come out and celebrated our birthdays, and, not shying away from letting people know. And that's important because not everyone gets the privilege of having yet another birthday and another birthday. So it's important that we recognize that. There's also I guess, an ageism thing around, the color of our hair, and, the lines on our face. And it was really refreshing to see Jodie Foster come out during the week and talk about, even celebrities, and she hates that term, get older. And she came out with a picture that was clearly not photo edited or photoshopped, and just looked like, a really outstanding woman who has got older, as we all do. But it's important to celebrate every single birthday, because the celebration is not just about me and how old I might choose to be. And if you're wondering, I'm 58. The celebration is also for my sisters, it's for my children, it's for my husband, it's for the people that I've, forged friendships with over the years as well. And some of those friendships are decades long, and they can only be decades long because we actually get to have that longevity and that gift of growing older. And my mum died a young 70 years old, and didn't have the privilege of growing old with my dad, who also died in his 80s. So we should celebrate and accept every birthday as it comes along. So and I know this goes exactly the same. It's similar but different to photographs. And why we should all be in photographs and not shy away saying, I don't look very good in photographs. I don't want to be in photographs. I'm not very photogenic. It's for the exact same reason. It's actually not about you. It's about what you mean to so many other people around you. So just see if you can draw those parallels. And if you are one to shy away from birthdays or photos, please let me know in the chat here whether that applies to you or not. But how do we use birthdays as a little bit of an opportunity to reflect, or a little bit of an opportunity to, use as a catalyst to move forward, and move forward not just in our here, as I talk about, in our fitness and how it relates to hiking, but in our overall life wellness and quality of life measures. And, I have said for the last couple of weeks, the only two people in your life you need to be proud of, or need to be proud of you, are your 8-year-old self and your 80-year-old self. And, what would they say and think and do about you? And, if I look back and think about my birthdays and the milestones of those, I can remember my 21st. I can remember we had a big party at my house. My dad featured a lot in our parties. My sister made me this beautiful, if anyone remembers the Australian Women's Weekly birthday cake cookbook, she made me the 21 carriages train cake, which was just amazing. It was a fancy dress 60s style birthday. I remember my 30th. I was backpacking around the world with my husband at the time and up in the Scottish Highlands. I remember my 40th, which was a party at home with, the kids and our friends around us. I remember my 50th, which was in Kokoda well, that was what I chose to do. I wasn't actually there for my birthday, but that was around hiking Kokoda Trail in Papua New Guinea. I'm not yet 60, so I don't have that milestone one there, but each birthday is a milestone. And I look back and reflect on, am I in the same level of fitness that I was perhaps a year ago? Yes or no? Why? It's a bit like when we get to peaks and troughs. And I was talking about this on a business week that I was on last week. Hiking has so many parallels to our life. And when we're on the peak, what did we do to get ourselves on to the peak? How do we stay on the peak for longer? What do we do when we get on the peak? And when we're in the trough as well, like, how the heck did I get down here? What do I need to do to pull myself out of this valley? The valley's cold. It can be dark. I mean, it can be beautiful as well, depending which way you look on it. So, I use the opportunity of a birthday to reflect on, am I stronger than last year? Am I fitter than last year? Do I have more social connections than I had last year? And there's no right or wrong, and there's no, yes, it doesn't always have to be more, because it can be better quality of friendships. It can be better quality of, good friends around you. It can be, you may not have the same level of fitness that you did a year ago, but there could be very good reasons for that. You might have more, you might have less, and we're all about a journey. But it's an opportunity to reflect on those measures that are our quality of life. And I remember, well, it's a great story, but I'll just check in with who's here first. We've got our Noosa people, our Toowoomba, Alethea, hello, as you vacuum the house. Okay, that's very good. Hi, Leonie from Gympie and Leanne from Adelaide. And Alethea says, we've lived more than half to 3/4 of our life, so we need to enjoy every day. We do. No one knows when that end button is going to be. And, hopefully it is a long time, but, every day is a gift. And I think as we get older, we appreciate that a little bit more and try and live more in the moment and grab the opportunities as well. But in terms of the quality of life measures and the things that we can do each birthday to reflect on, and it's reflecting on, and thank you, Lynn, reflecting on, our health and wellness. And if we're not where we want to be, what happened? Like, it's that moment of reflection. And we can do it on New Year's Eve, and everybody does it then. And you can, I know most of us in this group don't set resolutions. You mentioned to me that you don't. But this opportunity to reflect: am I where I wanted to be? Like this time last year when it was my birthday, am I in the space where I wanted to be? Where will I be this time next year? Have I got the right group around me? Have I got the right support around me? Am I, doing enough, mentally, physically, socially, to put myself in a position where I want to be? Thank you, Kerry. And I have mentioned this a long time ago, so some of you may or may not remember this story of my friend's mother, who's now in her late 80s, I think, and she decided into her 40s, I think it was her late 40s, what she wanted to have going forward, where she wanted to be physically, what community she wanted to live in, what support she needed around her, what um, financially she wanted her life to look like, what her hobbies, what was going to fill her days. And as she moved forward through each birthday, she consciously made an effort to start shifting the pieces around the chessboard so that she could be in that position. And now in her 80s, she lives this most glorious, happy life. Yes, her partner's passed away, and she's met someone new, but she's living out this um, place and space in time because she just made those, you know, not at all at all costs. It was not at all costs. It was like, this is consciously what I want my life to look like, and just kept making these small little moves, because we can go off on tangents, and that's okay. We may not know where we want to go, but we can correct ourselves as well. So we're going to come back to the physical of why birthday milestones are important, and the milestone of any age birthday for anyone. And it's about our quality of life, but it's also about our longevity. And I was reading or listening to some research around men in particular, why men over 50 are, their reason for going to the gym. And a lot of it is around longevity, realizing that finally they're not immortal and may not live forever if they don't do something about it. But on the flip side to that, in my business conference last week, one of the lovely ladies who's in that group has been there for, 8 years, as long as I have or longer, was telling me, she's a high level soccer referee in the state that she lives in, and she's in her early 60s, I think, and was saying that she's never had to worry about working hard at her physical fitness. This is high level. She's like powerful. And she said, but now I do. And she said, she wanted to have a chat about that. And the interesting thing is that she actually recognized it, because we were having this exact chat today at hiking. Let me talk about fair weather hikers in a moment. At hiking, about at what point do you realize that you may have to work a little bit harder just to maintain where you are? Or at what point do you think, I'm not actually going to work any harder, I'm going to stop right there and not do anything about it? And that, I think, is the line in the sand. Thank you, Anne, as well. So my friend's story was that she recognized that things were that the physical things didn't come quite as easily to her as they may have 10 years ago, and that she had to work just a little bit harder. No longer could she get up and just, go for a 20-kilometer run out the door. She had to actually, plan and do warm-ups and eat the right food and hydrate and all that kind of stuff, and then allow that opportunity to recover. But a lot of people don't realize that, or a lot of people might think that's just a little bit too hard and not going to do anything. So on the flip side of that, we were talking today at hiking, and we had a lovely new lady come along and has been watching us for 6 years. And if you're watching, you know who you are. And I said, what has taken you so long? Why the hesitation? And she said, I didn't think I would be fit enough. And she was more than fit enough, which is irrelevant really, because another lady who's been coming for a long time said that she's trying to get her sister to come along, and the sister says, I'm only going to join when I'm fit enough. And she's been saying that same story for about 6 years. And each year when her birthday rolls around, or the conversation, that anniversary date, her fitness hasn't moved anywhere. So this conscious effort and using a point in time to measure where I am and where do I want to be, and has anything changed? And sometimes, a lot of times we can't help these random things that might happen to our health, but a lot of times we can control some things that happen to our health as well. And one of those is our strength, one of those is our balance, one of those is our coordination, one of those is our cardio, our ability to puff and get our out of breath. One is our ability to move. There's a lot of things we can control, but if we keep waiting for that, when I'm fit enough, when I'm fast enough, when I'm whatever enough, as the years roll on, those days probably won't come. But we know that in terms of, and it is all around for me today, in the context of this chat, a physical, using our birthdays as a physical reset. So what is it that we need to reset, and why is it important? And you might think, or Yvonne, it's easy for you. This is what you do. But it's no easier for me than it is for you. And I had a friend say that a few years ago when we were doing the original Kokoda. He said, it's easy for you. It's all right for you. You're fit and active, but I'm not. And this is my current lifestyle. But whatever your lifestyle, it's not easy. You actually have to actively work towards the outcome that you want. And I can't give an exact example because they'll know who they are, but it's hard not doing anything, and it's hard doing something. So choose your heart is probably the right answer there. Also, in terms of this movement and this longevity, and why it's important to move, whether you are thinking you're not fit enough, or whether, like our members on here, you are actively doing some amazing stuff to live your best life, and live a best mobile life as well. There's lots of studies that show how regular physical activity, you only have to Google it, you only have to read a bit of newspaper, at least once, if not twice a week, there's some study about how movement is really linked to longevity. And it's not really about what we look like. It's about it's about our ability to move. It's about our ability to lift our absolutely, you can, Jack, and thank you, Christine. It's about our as I said, our ability to move. It's about our ability to, if we have grandkids, to lift grandkids. And one of our members today was saying her 6-month-old grandchild, the first one, weighs 10 kilos. And how heavy was that? So if you are a new to be grandma or a grandma and have a 6-month-old, in 2 years when you're trying to pick up a toddler, you need to have built some strength. You need to have that balance. You need to have that confidence to be able to lift up a child. And so that's why strength, and that's why, weights and all that is important. But we know that this longevity, this being able to move, is linked to a better quality of life as well. And a better quality of life is, when we can get out and get moving, in as little as, 11 minutes a day. There's lots of studies around that. It can reduce our mortality risk. It can reduce our markers for diabetes. It can move us towards having that blood pump more efficiently around our body. It doesn't have to be far, and it doesn't have to be fast. It just has to be. And I think that we can, in a world where everything is convenient, where everything is easy, where it's and I know I'm talking to our members here. This is not about you, because I know that you're all on this same train with me, and some of you are health professionals as well. It is not about using modern medicine to prop us up. Modern medicine can assist us in so many ways, but we need to work in tandem with that to be as active and as agile and strong and capable as we possibly can, and take that self-responsibility as well. We also know that moving is good for our mental health. Socializing is good for our mental health as well. The stories, the lines on our face tell stories, and those stories can be linked to, lots of things. And in my case, I'd love to link them all to outdoor adventures as well. But also keeping our brains active as well. So, I use each birthday and other times at the year as a reset for that. Am I in a space that I feel comfortable in my body? Am I in a space where I feel that my body is still capable? If it's not capable, what do I need to do? Who do I need to see? Do I need a physio? Do I need, my GP? Do I need all these people around me to help me get back onto the right path? Because, what I do now and what everyone does now, thank you everyone for the birthday wishes, will show up in days, weeks, months, years. What you don't do now will also show up in days, weeks, months, and years. And your birthday is a really good reminder of that. So, you know, birthdays, New Year's Eve are great things, and if you do use them as reminders, let me know. And if you don't, let me know as well. And do you even do reminders or check-ins with yourself about where you want to be? And I know some of the stories from our members of the the dreams and the goals they have are coming to fruition because you're actively moving towards it. For those of you who work or recently worked, or maybe semi-retired, using we work hard on projects. We recheck ourselves on work projects, but how often do we do that for the project of ourselves? Let me just check here what Margaret has said. Margaret says, I have to admit, I've had some disappointing birthdays in the past. Yeah, a couple of years ago, I had a very disappointing birthday. I was really unwell. Didn't even eat the cake because I was singing happy birthday and went to bed. I was not well. Now I see each birthday as a bonus or a gift. I've made it through one more year. I choose what I do and I treat myself a little or a lot. Laugh out loud. Yeah, made it through one more year. But and I've seen your journey, Margaret, over 5 years now, and it isn't a case of making it through another year because you're actually smashing it through the years. You're fitter, stronger, faster, more capable. The flower opened when you joined us, and you've gone on to do some amazing, amazing things. And you're a really good role model for that as well. And Marianne uses New Year's Day as the one for reset for her. And we don't just have to have one reset. We can have many, many resets throughout the year, or just a check-in, or those hopes and dreams if you had them. Then revisit them because as someone said earlier, every year is a gift. And I think Alethea said if we're half or a third way through, then there isn't a lot of time left, so make the most of that as well. So hopefully I've given you some food for thought. I'd love to have further conversation with you, and I'll send the newsletter out shortly, and you can share, if you don't want to share on here, your story with me. That would be most appreciated. So this week, as I said, it is Echo Week here in Queensland, so it being a public holiday, or in Brisbane, a public holiday on Wednesday. But Cardio Boost is on tomorrow night, and our online Trail Fit training is back Thursday morning and Thursday afternoon for this week. So I'm really seeing and hearing the difference in all of our members who participate in that program as well. But there's lots of stuff going on, lots of adventures coming up, and lots of great milestones and ambitions that can be set as wonderful, wonderful targets. So that is it for me from today. Thank you for tuning in. Look at my beautiful flowers. Aren't they just lovely? Sent from a friend with a big box of chocolates, actually, which I'm trying not to eat. I've been holding off all afternoon, but on a glum, rainy, cold Queensland afternoon, it's the perfect thing. So thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to catching up with you next week on Monday Night Live, and we're going to talk about this new concept that I was chatting to my my business buddies about last week that they had never heard of. So I look forward to catching up with you then. Thanks for tuning in. Talk to you soon. Bye.